Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to this first webinar organized by the French-Korean Chamber of Commerce and Industry and French Tech Seoul. I am Cedric LEGRAND, Managing Director of the French-Korean Chamber, and I have the pleasure to open this webinar with Mr. Alain BRIEZ, Vice President of French Tech Seoul and CEO Asia of Germinal.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for the introduction. So as you might know, the French Tech Seoul and the FKCCI used to have many collaboration, mostly offline. And so that's the first time we organize an online event together, and I'm pretty thrilled about it. And I hope it's the first of many more to come. So today in this webinar, we decided to present you some insight about cybersecurity with French experts and Korean experts as well. And we want to bring this topic because we believe that it's sometimes overlooked in a corporation because we have this feeling that cybersecurity issues only happen to others. But the fact is now we live in a world where everything grows exponentially. So the cyber threat is not an exception. It also grow that fast. And everybody now is a target with new technology and new organization of working, which are redefining the game of cybersecurity. So what we know is with a lack of understanding, every level of an organization become a vulnerability. And the business impact are very real. So we wanted to give our member for French Tech Seoul and the Chamber of Commerce, we wanted to give some overviews, so we are sure that everybody understands the problematic and can do the necessary to face it. So I give you back the talk.
Yes, and today COVID-19 has forced many companies to change their internal process with an extensive use of remote working. These new circumstances led to a drastic increase of the attacks on your network, your company, server, and data. To better understand this issue, we call upon Mr. Marc de SUPERVIELLE to moderate this webinar. Marc is Managing Director of RALFKAIROS, member of FKCCI, and has 20 years of experience in internal audit and IT consulting in Korea, US, Japan, and Europe. Thank you, Marc, to be with us today.
Thank you, Cedric. Thank you, Alain. I'm very happy indeed to be with you today. Welcome everybody to this seminar. We will address cybersecurity and COVID-19, what has changed and what has not. The role of information system has been dual during this crisis. On one side, it has enabled somewhat business continuity and helped to respond to opportunity and business requirements like an accelerated digital transformation. On the other side, the information system has been a target of attacks. That was not new. This was already the case before. However, the disruption in the environment and the weakening of traditional lines of defense have created additional weaknesses and greater faults to be handled by the security team. Not only, this has been a concern to general management. Let us backtrack for a minute on cybersecurity to help us fully grasp the issue. Cybersecurity is the protection of corporate digital assets. It traditionally relies on three different pillars that I will remind here. The first of this pillar is confidentiality, which is the protection of information from unauthorized access. This is not to be mixed up with privacy. Because of COVID-19, typical control mechanisms like access controls, file permissions, and encryption have had to be adjusted, meaning tightened, loosened, or at least reviewed to accommodate team shifts or off-site access. The second pillar of cybersecurity is integrity. Integrity is the protection of data from unauthorized modification. This also applies to email, files, software, and configuration settings within your corporate networks. Traditional controls of integrity include logging, which is activity recording, digital signature, hashes, encryption, and access controls. Integrity is a common first step in a successful attack. We have seen data integrity being under siege in the last month. Finally, the third area of cybersecurity is the availability. The availability is the timely and reliable access to information. Protection in this area is achieved by the use of redundancy, backups, and implementation of business continuity planning. Availability will, for sure, remain critical in the post-COVID cybersecurity world. These three pillars of cybersecurity have been under heavy strain because of COVID-19. And just to take one example, the change in that organization have taken in the last months, like the scattering of previously in-house and in-person activity has led to at least 5 greater exposition for the information system. The first one is that remote working has increased confidentiality risks. So social engineering possibilities like overheard conversations, screen accessibility, less secured home environment, usage of personal devices might have created opportunities for malvolence. The decrease of physical controls because of remote access has increased, on the other side, the credential theft risk to access the corporate network. The third risk is the induced changes in the network security baseline and the difficulty to monitor the network activity. This has increased the risk of false positive and might contribute to the lowering of the monitoring efficiency of the networks. Also, a fourth risk of this off-site working has been the increased risk around power user activity, administrator and high privilege holders that are performed off-site. Finally, the increased load on help desk and IT teams, possibly lowering the control efficiency. These factors can be aggravated by the local context. For example, in Korea and in France, some corporate environments are less than mature regarding cybersecurity. The sense of urgency and third-party risks have also to be addressed during this crisis. Mr. Christophe Bobin, CEO at Corexalys. Mr. Bobin will give us a general and geographic perspective on APT, Advanced Persistent Threats. In a second part, Mr. Yohan Lassagne, white hat hacker and pen tester, co-founder of CEO and Iteria, will present a concrete case through hands-on experience. We have left a significant portion of time dedicated to question and answer, so please do not hesitate. Also, there will be a quiz circulated in the seminar. I will now let Mr. Bobin take the floor and enjoy the seminar.
So, good evening to every people. So I'm Mr. Christophe Bobin. I'm CEO of Corexalys. As you said, Marc, so at this time we can talk about a lot of threat. I would like first to introduce the company, because I would like to talk about maybe not directly a cyber threat, but the threat. Because actually we can say to know about the cyber threat is very important. But also what is very important is to know about the threat and what is the capability of the threat. Because we consider today that some threat have three kind of capability. We talk about human intelligence, we talk about signal intelligence, and we talk about operational intelligence. What we talk today is especially signal intelligence. I mean cyber, like a cyber attack. Our company decided to be interested by the threat, because what we can see, and especially during this period of COVID, this is how the threat is going to use I mean, the different capabilities to reach, to steal some data, to do a lot of things, and especially what we can say to prepare economic warfare. This is what we would like to talk, because actually we consider that the cyber attack was maybe the only one way to lead some, I mean, some operation in economic target to have some information or something like this. Why? Because the people couldn't move. It was impossible to meet each other. And for the operation, it was exactly the same things. So it means all the threat, I mean the state, the criminal, the private company, decide to focus the attack with this kind of capability. So why for the Corexalys? So we were interested to be interested by this topic. We are a French company, as you see, and what we want, we develop a strategic, comprehensive, integrated approach in the cyber domain. I mean, it's very important to know, I mean, to have some IOC or something like this about the threat. But what is important also is to know who is behind the keyboard, because every time sometimes we forget that there is some people really behind the keyboard. So the second thing, what is very important, to use human and technical expertise to gathering some information about the threat. And after, to know exactly what kind of capabilities is going to be used by the threat. So why we decide to be focused about this. What we can see, what we saw about the period of the COVID-19, we can see really like a similar curve for cyber attacks and COVID-19. I mean, okay, we can see some attack very focused first in Asia and move in Eastern and Western Europe. Exactly like the COVID. Why? Because we are going to see the process, especially for the attack, was to use the topic of the COVID to lead some phishing attack or something like this. For a lot of hacker, I mean, not white hacker, but for hacker who work for criminal, work for state also, work for private company, it was really a good opportunity to carry out a targeted cyber attack. And what we saw, mainly of these attacks was led by to do a large scale spam campaigns using the COVID as a handle, and email phishing campaigns with compromised document about the COVID. The topics was really very, very important because it was a very easy way to target the people and to be sure that the people is going to be very, I mean, interested by this. The second thing also was, I mean, all the company are concerned by this, I mean, this topic and this threat. Why? Because they had to move the architecture, they had to open some access, they authorized some, they allow some people to use a personal device or something like this. And what we can see, it was the same things for the small company, but also the big company. Actually, what we can say, the goal of this cyber attack, there is a lot of, I mean, reason to attack. So the first thing was to for some state and private actors to targeting weak companies. it was really very important. Because actually the COVID, we can say, make a weak some company, and it was the goal for some country to know which company can be weak and have some problem. So it was really very important to gathering information about this company who have some problem. So what we can see, the keywords to extract some data was not about innovation or something like this, but for the business statement. It means, okay, if some company is going to hack some cash flow to the bank or something like this, if a state is going to try to help this company, so all information about the level of weakness of the company. What we can see also, some country, and especially like Russia, did some information warfare to increase the weakness of some company. Also, cyber criminals sponsored by states. What I mean, the states have some capabilities, but not, a lot of capabilities. So some states, like China, Russia, is going to hack to some cyber criminal group to work at this time, and really more than they do before, because it was really a good opportunity for them to gathering a lot of information. This is like this, we can see, okay, increase the attack by the cyber criminals. So we talk about ransomware, but what is a bit different for the ransomware? They didn't just block the data, also they collect the data. And what you can be sure, if they collect the data, it's not only to keep for themselves. And so what we can see also, we can see that a lot of data leak were and more are present in the dark web. So what we can see for the method and specification of this attack by topics and by area. What is very important? The COVID, this is a world event. I mean, it's this event touch every country. What we know. But for some country, they decide to target maybe Europe, what we said, but also and especially so Asia. What they decided to do before the COVID, just they continue at this time, and they continue with more capability, as I said just before, when they include some cyber criminals or something like this. But also they are going to try to take this opportunity to develop new technology to attack, to develop a new system or something like this. Actually, we talk about the APT. What is APT? It's advanced persistent threat. It means that this is like a cyber attack, but the cyber attack begins a long time ago, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And this kind of the threat is going to change every time. Why? Because sometimes so some country discover this threat, and they are going to decide to block the threat. So what the hackers is going to do is going to change just a bit the software of the threat or something like this to be sure that all the information they can steal, they can continue to steal. And so every country have, some targets and some topics. For example, for North Korea, and you know a lot about this, for APT like Kimsuki, they decide, okay, since a long time to target the South Korea, and for the keyword, the topics, they decide to target the defense industry, defense, I mean, also military or something like this, and think tank and think tank about the nuclear. What we know at this time, this is this APT, organize, create, and I mean, work by the North Korea. What is very important for this kind of threat? When you have one access, you try to keep this access. And you are going to do anything to be sure that you can stay inside the IT system you already compromised. So this is really the first goal. So what it means, sometimes we discover this threat, for example, inside IT, but what we discover, just that some document or something like this were extract of this IT, but every time, sometimes we don't know the door, we don't know the way where they extract, the information, or how they go inside the IT system. The second APT I take, for example, is APT 41. This is a Chinese APT. And what you can see, there is a lot of country at this time. And especially, some country in the Western, Eastern, with a different language. And it's like a really, world APT. And for the topics, it's exactly the same things. It's the banking, it's the construction, defense, industrial, all these kind of things. Why I show you this APT? I show you this APT because actually you don't see the name of the South Korea, but at this time we can be sure that the South Korea never targeted by this APT. I'm not sure, because when we see the keyword, when we see the topics, I know that there is a lot of topics where South Korea have a very high level and can be a very, the Chinese can be very interesting to gathering some information about this. Though what I mean, there is what we see and there is what we don't see. And actually, the more important is to have some information about what we don't see. And you are going to say, but how is it possible? Is it possible because all this kind of threat, what we said, still, exist since maybe 3 years, 4 years, some APT 7 years or 8 years. They use some infrastructure. They use some infrastructure to be sure to keep the access, what I said. So sometimes the most important is not to know what already compromised, is to know what is going to be compromised. And to know what is going to compromise is to know, okay, if the topics as good are targeted by this target, and if they have the capability. And at this time, we can begin, to improve the system. So this is a bit what I wanted to say. I thank you very much. Actually, what is important, what I said, is the threat and the capabilities. The COVID provide to some people, some country and some cyber criminal, really a lot of meaning and opportunity to lead an attack. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bobin, for this presentation. We will now turn to Mr. Lassagne for his presentation and his address around the phishing threat. Yohan, up to you.
Okay, I will, since Christophe showed you, he has shown you like the strategic and the economic business opportunities for other companies to try to steal the information. And I will show you like the phishing demonstration that is possible to produce when it's COVID-19 related phishing attempt. And you will see that between what has changed and what has not much has changed since COVID-19, but like the way we did it is different. So as Marc already told you, I'm a cybersecurity consultant and a white hat hacker, but I will skip that for the moment. And if you are interested in, I will show you that later. So briefly, like the introduction, I will show you like a landscape of the COVID-19 related phishing attack. And then I will show you like the demonstration of a phishing attack with the objective, the phase of reconnaissance, what hackers will do when they try to do phishing attack, the payload delivery, so when I send you the virus to the company, the initial compromission, and then how to loot the information on the company. And then we'll do some like exercises together. Will you spot this phishing attempt? So it's an example I've taken from internet. So to train you, I can show you this, and then I will show you some tools to help to prevent phishing attacks. So landscape in first quarter 2020, there is like 600% increase with phishing attacks related to COVID-19, 18 million attacks per day. So as you can see, like there is a war going on and no man is safe from, and it's high success rate because all the COVID-19 related attacks are worldwide, and lots of people are concerned about this COVID-19 thing and the virus, and the success rate of these attacks is really impressive, and a lot of people are scared about that, so they will be like fished by this. And it's used widely by APT groups. So as Christophe explained you, APT is like advanced persistent threats, and they, even if they have like a knowledgeable, these groups are really knowledgeable. They know how to hack the system. They know vulnerabilities inside their system, but they will still use like human leverage to go inside the company, because the human leverage is the less used, and they know this is the less, there is the less aware to use this leverage, so they will use this. Okay, here is like a classical network enterprise. Everybody can see my my mouth. Okay, so let's guess like we have like internet area. So for example, I have on this internet area an employee that is accessing my enterprise through a VPN tunnel. So a VPN tunnel is like virtual private network, and it lets the employee access the network enterprise without being seen on the internet. Let's see this like as a tunnel in the real life. You can go through this, but the people outside cannot see what's happening in this tunnel, and it lets you access the network enterprise without being seen by everyone. So I have a first layer of security that is a firewall here. In my DMZ is like a not totally trusted zone. I have like my mail server and everything that is handling a service for the outside and the inside of the company network. So let's say I have a DNS, I have proxies, I have everything. So this is my first layer of security. So the traffic that is going here is more trusted, but not that much yet. And then I have my second layer of security, the second firewall. And from here, I am in the network of the company. So here, everything that is happening over here is trusted by the company. And then I have like a router, switches, and then all my employees can access like the human resources server, the financial server. They need to do their work. So me as an attacker, I will be interested to go to this financial server or the human resources server. So there is all the gold I need here. There is the employee record, the sensitive information, the sensitive commercial information about clients, pricing. And if I have like a third party company that is asking me as an attacker to go to the financial server and extract the information, I will show you two ways that I can have this information. So the first one is I go through all the layer of security of this company. So I attack firstly the firewall. This is a brand of firewall, a model of firewall. So I will have to break this one with the specific model of this firewall. Then when I'm in this firewall, I will have to break the second layer of security. And generally speaking, when you do like a DMZ like this, you will have two different firewalls. So this one is not the same brand as this one. So I will have to find another security vulnerabilities for this firewall. And then once I'm in this firewall, I will have to attack the human resources server and the financial server to find all the gold that is asked by my client. So as you can see, it's really difficult because here I have 4 attacks and I have to find security vulnerabilities over 2 firewalls. So it's hard because you, generally speaking, the IT security team know this one is facing the internet, so it's really exposed to the internet, and they usually will focus on that, patch this firewall and apply security patches to this firewall. Then I have to go to the second one. So really, there is a lot of things going on here. But there is another attack path that the hackers are taking. It's like, okay, this employee has already got access to the enterprise network. What I can do is I just send him an email that is infected with some viruses, and it gives me access to the network of this company without even breaking the two firewalls here. And as you can see here, it's protected by a firewall, but actually, when you want to receive mails from your clients, from third-party external services, you need to open the firewall to let go through the mail server and send them to your employee. So you can do some kind of filtering, but though the mail server will accept all the mails from outside, or your employees cannot work with external parties. So me as an attacker, I will send a crafted email to this employee and then try to access the company without breaking the security layers here. Okay, now that I know that my objective is the financial server, the human resources server, how can I access this network? So first of all, I will do like a reconnaissance phase. So what is reconnaissance? You use open source intelligence. So everything that has leaked on the internet can be used as a weapon against you. So it is like LinkedIn, Facebook, KakaoTalk, every social media. You can use it against the company you want to target. If it's stock market news, there is some news on the market, knowing that a process is going on the company and you want to use it against them. So everything you can use a company, and everything you post on the social media can be used against you by the hackers. And the hackers, generally speaking, will target executive and employees that are working in the department they are interested to loot information. So for example, if you work as a human resources employee, they will target the executive and the employees of this area to take the data they need of this specific area in the company, because generally this network here is isolated from this network here. And if I target the employee that is working in this human resources department, but I wanted the financial server, I cannot access this data. So the hackers will specifically target the employees. Okay, so now that I have taken all the data I need from the company, from social media to make my attack and to craft it, I will custom made, for example, for the company, an email that is specifically made for this company. So once I know the process, I can craft this email and create a sense of emergency in this email. So you need to answer that really quickly because I need that for tomorrow. You need to fill that document in to prevent logical thinking. If you use a sense of emergency, the people they will not think about it. They will lower their guard and they will do this quickly. Because if you use like the how to say that in English, I forgot the word, like the leverage of the boss, you can use that sense of emergency to make the people go not sorry, I've lost like the word. Okay, whatever. So I will show you like an example of the payload delivery. So I have crafted like an email. It's COVID-19 related. It's urgent. It's you need to fill the business risk impact assessment. And okay, I'm from the human resources department. I need you to fill this form. As we said previously in our meeting, this is urgent. As you see here, I'm using the sense of emergency, creating a sense of emergency, and I need this to be done before tomorrow. My executive is asking for this. You need to fill this as quickly as possible. So as you can see here, like the attachments, it looks like a classic Excel spreadsheet, but inside there is like a various, you can see it's there is a MLAC here that stands for macros, and when you open it, actually it's not a classic Excel spreadsheet. It will deliver a payload, a virus inside the employee computer of this company, and then once the virus is deployed, I can like pretty much have access to everything. So here the employee is infected and the security layer you see here are now useless, because here my employee is infected is have access to all the network of this company, and then me as a hacker, I can make my way over the network and then attack the financial server and the human resources server and then extract all the data outside from the company. So here are some solutions. So first of all, when you see this kind of phishing attempt, you have to train your employees. If they lack of awareness, they will not know how to detect this kind of attack, because it's hard for the technical part to detect this kind of attack without like human intervention. So here I have some examples I have taken from phishing quiz with Google. It's called Jigsaw, and as you can see here, this may looks like legitimate, but if you hover your mouse on the docx document here, you will see like there is something like drive-google.com. So if you're not aware of this, it's not a legitimate link, because drive-google.com, sorry, doesn't exist. I mean, it exists, but it's not legitimate. It's not belonging to Google. So the official one will be drive.google.com, but not this one. This one is another one. As you can see here, a second example to spot this one. Same technique as before, just over the mouse over the link, and you can see drive.google.com looks legitimate, but actually it's not drive.google.com, it's download.-photo-cites.net. So here something, it can be, it looks like legitimate, but actually it's not. Cites.net is not the legitimate site of Google. So if you don't take deep look into that. When you receive an email, you don't hover the mouse on the link, you can be fooled by this. So be aware of that, and you need to train your eyes and your brain to see where is the adversary and where is the phishing attempt. So here is solutions in your company that can help you to prevent those phishing attempts. This is a tool used in Outlook. It's an add-in. It's an alert security button. It's developed by the CERT of Société Générale. Société Générale is a French banking company, so it's freely available for everyone. And when you add this tool in your Outlook add-in and you receive like a suspicious email, sorry about that. So you receive a suspicious email, you can forward this, for example, to your security IT team, and it will give them all the technical details they need to know if it's a phishing attempt or if it's a legitimate mail. So with this one, you can have all the headers from the message, helping you to know if it's a real one or fake one. So in conclusion, what's drive a successful spear phishing attempt? If there is sensitive information about your company that, for example, like the internal process that has leaked on the internet, it will be used against you, and they will use it on the phishing attempt. So what is the solutions about that? Monitor your name of your company, sensitive keywords, like for example, if you have a process that has a certain name, try to monitor those keywords on the internet. That's called a CTI, Cyber Threat Intelligence. So you need to monitor everything that has leaked on the internet, and you need to have the good point of view of what the attackers can have on you. So you need to monitor your password that has leaked on the internet, your mail addresses, your processes, every kind of information that can link on the internet. You have to be aware that they are leaked on the internet. Train your employees. It's really important. As I said before, the email leverage is really important. If your employee lacks lack of awareness about phishing attempts and how it works, and what is the way to prevent it, you will have those phishing attempts at your company, and they will be successful. As I said before, like the phishing, even if it's not really technical thing, it's really used by APT groups if they are knowledgeable, because as every company, APT groups work like this. They need their return on investment, and if they invest too much on destroying your security layers we've seen before, they will not attack you. But if they have like another way, like the human way, the phishing attempt, they will use it.
Thank you very much, Yohan. I now turn to Mr. Bobin. We have one question from the audience. Could you please share with us one quick and maybe cheap advice in these budget constrained times that for company to protect themselves in the next month?
Yes. So what I think the first things for every company, maybe it's the good time to make some assessment about the vulnerabilities and I mean the critical assets you have, and how to protect this critical asset. Because at this time, you can be sure that what I said, the threat is going to focus on you if you can be interesting. So the first vulnerabilities, asset assessment, vulnerabilities, critical assets for you, and especially assessment about the threat and what is the capabilities of the threat. Because if you don't do this, it's impossible to have the good solution, provide the good service, to buy the good product, because you no need to buy anything if just the threat is focused for example, about the mail, or is focused about some just one information, and you just need to protect this information. What I can give for advice.
Thanks. I now turn to Mr. Lassagne. We have more of a technical question, but I guess the audience will understand this one. One of our attendees is asking, is VPN enough?
Short answer, no. But yeah, so if you want to access your company networks, you will need VPN for sure. So yes, you need VPN for this one, but you need like to have the process for your companies of all like security processes. So for example, your employee have his own computer, he will access the company through a VPN, but you need like to also secure the device that your employee is using. Like, for example, like have a BIOS password, prevent USB from being like from being used on the computer itself. So like the VPN itself is not enough in short answer, and you have like to go through all the process of securing your different accesses.
Thank you, Mr. Lassagne, for this answer. I think this was a very successful session. Thanks to all participants, speakers, and attendees. I think one key takeaway from this session, it looks like a new and sensible corporate cybersecurity posture will emerge after this crisis. The challenge, no doubt, will be immense because of this new business environment. It is going to be very challenging for us cybersecurity professionals and for general management as well. Cybersecurity will have to do more with less. In this condition, control efficiency, awareness, and technical alignment are a must, as a holistic, well-thought approach to cybersecurity is needed in the corporate world. I also trust that this kind of exercise we just had, this webinar, thanks to the FKCCI and to the French Tech, does contribute to a better cybersecurity. I thank you very much and hope to see you very, very soon in the near future. Thank you.